In today's video, we will look at electric fields and electric forces. Let's first look at electric fields. This is a vector, often denoted in such a way. The sources of electric fields are charges, electric charges, whose strength are measured in the units of Coulomb. Assume you have a point charge whose strength is Q, and it is a positive charge. The pattern of electric fields it creates is outward, radially outward, like that. So that is the electric field created by a positive point charge. Likewise, if you have a negative point charge, it also creates electric fields in a radial manner, but it would be radially inward, like that. So that is the main difference between electric fields created by a positive charge and electric fields created by a negative charge. The next thing is, how do we quantify electric fields? In the case of electric fields produced by a point charge, it is proportional to the strength of that charge that is producing the fields. It is also proportional to inverse square of the distance from the point charge. What that means is, assume that we want to determine the electric field at a point P, whose distance is r from the point charge, and you ask, what is the electric field strength there? The answer is, the magnitude of it equals to a constant K times the strength of that charge in Coulomb over that distance squared, distance measured in the units of meter. Now this K has a value. Its value is about 9 times 10 to the power 9 Newton meter squared over Coulomb squared. So that is the unit for K. Electric fields are vectors, so we need to also specify the direction. The direction in this case is radially outward because we are dealing with a positive charge. So the unit vector along the radial direction can be written as r hat. So this is the full expression that enables us to calculate the electric field strength at a particular distance due to a particular charge whose strength is Q Coulomb. Now let's bring in a second charge, Q1. Let's assume it's a positive charge as well. How does this charge react to the fields created by that charge? Since this is a positive charge sitting in the field of another positive charge, Q1 will be repelled by Q, like that, along the direction of the electric field. So if Q1 is being repelled, there must be some kind of force acting on Q1 due to the charge Q. And that force on Q1 is given by the following expression. It is the strength of Q1 in Coulomb times the electric field produced by that charge Q at the distance where Q1 is located. Now, since we know the electric field is a vector quantity and force is also a vector quantity, so this defines the complete equation, the vector equation that defines the force, the electric force. What if Q1 is a negative charge? The electric field due to charge Q is going radially outward like that. In this case, Q1 will be attracted towards that charge Q along the radial direction. It's easy to see why, because now Q1 carries a negative sign. You see that the force on Q1 is opposite in direction to the electric field created by that charge Q. Thus, that force on Q1 is opposite to the electric field created by that charge Q. At a particular moment, let's assume Q1 is at a distance r from charge Q. We have just elaborated on the expression for the electric field at certain distance r. It is given by K Q over r squared r hat. So let's substitute that expression for the electric field. For the expression for the force, you get kq over r squared r hat. This law here is called the Coulomb's law. It describes the force that acts between 2 point charges. In this case, Q and Q1. So the main idea is simple. If you have electric field going to the right, let's say, and you have a positive charge sitting in this field, so the force on this positive charge will be rightward as well, F, and that is given by Q times E, where E is the strength of that electric field. So this electric field in this case may be produced by some other charge, for example. And since the force is rightward, in the same direction as the direction of the electric field, this charge here may move in the same direction. Instead, if you have a negative charge sitting in the same electric field, the force acting on that negative charge will be opposite to that of electric field, with the same strength, because the two charges have the same strength, only opposite sign, and the negative charge would be moving in that direction, the leftward direction, opposite to the direction of the electric field. Simple as that. Let's look at this following problem. What is the magnitude of an electric field in which the electrical force on a proton is equal in magnitude to its weight? Let the mass of proton to be 1.67 times 10 to the power minus 27 kg, and its charge to be 1.602 times 10 to the power minus 19 Coulomb. So let's say the proton is sitting in an electric field heading upward. Of course, it has its own weight, and the weight is vertically downward. Let's call it m times gravity. The electric force, as we have just explained earlier, is going upward, like that. So if these were to be equal in magnitude, then we say Fe equals mg. But Fe equals to the charge of a proton times the strength of the electric field. So we write QE equals mg. Now we know what the charge of proton is. Positive 1.602 times 10 to the power minus 19. So let's expand on that. 1.602 times 10 to the power minus 19 Coulomb. Electric field is what we want to determine. The mass of the proton is that, so it is 1.67 times 10 to the power minus 27 kg times gravity, which is 9.81. And from this equation, we can solve for the electric field. It's 1.67 times 10 to the power minus 27. G is 9.81 over the charge 1.602 times 10 to the power minus 19 Coulomb. And the answer is about 1.02 times 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per Coulomb. And that's the answer. Problem 2. 8 equal point charges with strength Q are located at the corners of a cube of length L as shown below. Find the total electrostatic force on the charge at the origin, the one that marked with blue. So let's mark the charges with numbers. So let's assume this is charge number 1, that is charge number 2, this is charge number 3, that one here is number 4, this is 5, that one here is 6, and that one is 7. So we want to determine the net force exerted by all these charges on the one placed at the origin. Let's start with the charge number 1 on the z-axis. The distance between the first charge and the one at the origin is L, because that is the length of that cube. So for charge number 1, The direction of the force exerted by this charge number 1 on this charge, both have the same sign, would be downward. So this charge will be pushed downward because it will be repelled by charge number 1. And it's in the direction of negative z-axis. So we can take the unit vector along the negative z-axis as minus z hat. The magnitude of it is k q squared from L squared from Coulomb's law. Now let's do charge number 2. Charge number 2 is there, so it will push charge number 1 diagonally that way. So the direction of that force is in zy plane. The unit vector along that diagonal direction, namely in that direction, is given by minus z hat minus y hat minus z hat minus y hat. Don't forget to divide by square root 2 because these are unit vectors, so the length of this vector has got to be 1. The magnitude is of course kq squared over the square of the diagonal distance. The diagonal distance is square root 2l from Pythagoras theorem. Square of that is 2l squared. Now charge number 3. Number 3 is situated on the y-axis, so it would repel the charge at the origin in that direction, in minus y hat direction. So that expression for the force of that contribution is minus y hat kq squared. The distance between them is l, so square is l squared. Now let's look at charge number 4. Charge number 4 would repel q at the origin in that direction along that diagonal direction situated on an xy plane. So the direction of that vector is minus y hat minus x hat. So the unit vectors would be minus x hat minus y hat over square root 2 times the strength. The strength is kq squared over the square of the diagonal distance, which is 2l squared. So there we have it, the complete expression from the charge number 4 contribution. Let's do 6 first. 6 is right there, so it would push the charge at the origin along the minus x hat direction. So minus x hat is the direction of that push. The strength is kq squared. The distance between them is l, and square of that is l squared. Now charge number 7, which is over there. So it's going to push the charge at the origin in that direction. So that means the direction of that unit vector will go down along the z-axis like that, and then it will go along the negative x-axis like that. So the unit vector would be minus z hat minus x hat over square root 2 in order to get magnitude 1. The magnitude of that force is kq squared. The diagonal distance, meaning that distance squared, is 2l squared. Now we are left with the 5th contribution, that charge. It's going to push the charge at the origin from corner to corner in that direction. The unit vector along that direction is given by minus x hat minus y hat minus z hat over square root 3, because it's going from this corner to the opposite corner. They are not on a plane. And the square of that distance is 3l squared. So the magnitude is kq squared over 3l squared. Now when you add all these contributions up, you get the final result, which I'm going to write here like that. That's the unit vector kq squared over l squared times 1 plus 1 over square root 2 plus 1 over 3 square root 3. This is just a test in algebra for you to do. The quantity on the bracket, the last bracket, turns out to be 1.9. So there we have it. The final answer is that. So that is the force on the charge at the origin from all the other charges. Thank you for watching.